Okay, first I'm going to cover a typical travel scenario where you want to bring a camera and a lens with you out for the day. And in my opinion, it really starts with the bag that you choose to bring with you. If you bring a branded camera bag or something that is a very obvious photography bag, then I think it could make you more of a likely target because you're basically advertising that you have expensive camera gear with you. So I just picked up this Bellroy 10-liter photography sling, and I like it for a few reasons, but first and foremost, it's not an obvious photography bag. When you look at it, it looks like you could have your lunch in here, maybe a water bottle and some sunscreen, I don't know, but it just doesn't stick out as a photography bag for me. And the second reason I like it is because it's a sling bag. So you can wear it across your body, and that can prevent someone just being able to snatch it off you, or you can even move it to the front of your body to where you have basically full view of your camera, and it just would make it much harder for a pickpocket to try to take something out of this bag. Now, whether you have a sling bag or a backpack, there are a couple of things you can do to help prevent someone from getting into your bag without your permission, and it's these little S carabiner clips. I really like these. Basically, what you do is you take the zipper on one end and you clip it to something on the bag. Then this just prevents the zipper from being able to be opened easily. You have to come in here and usually use two hands to release the zipper, and then you can open it. So this just helps ensure that you are basically a harder target, and it is more of a headache to get into this bag. So let's open it up, and I'll show you what I have in here currently. Now, I would highly recommend hiding an AirTag or a tile or just some type of tracker in the bag as well, just in case you lose the bag or it does get stolen, you have a method to recover it. And in here, I have my Sony a7 IV with a 24-70. Okay, so here is the Sony a7 IV that I keep in the bag, and I've done a couple of things to this camera to help with theft prevention. First and most obvious is I've put tape over the logos, so the Sony logo, the a7 IV logo, and a couple of spots on the lens as well. I put tape over just to basically hide what kind of camera this is. Now, if you know cameras, obviously this is an a7 IV, it's pretty easy to tell, or you could at least tell that it's a Sony body of some kind, but just having tape, especially kind of roughly placed over the logos, just sort of makes the camera look less attractive. Maybe it's damaged or just, you can't obviously tell what it is. So I think that's an excellent thing to do. And then additionally, I have a wrap on this camera. It is from AlphaGuard. It is the Shadow Black wrap, which is a little bit hard to tell that it's on there at first, but it does make the camera look more customized, which would make this camera harder to flip. So already I'm sort of creating some headaches for a potential thief if they wanted to steal this camera. And the other thing I have on here is a wrist strap. So I don't always use a wrist strap, but obviously this can prevent you from dropping your camera. And better yet, if you're in an area where you think someone may try to snatch this out of your hand, having a wrist strap on it will prevent them from being able to do that. This particular wrist strap is from PGY Tech, and it's a quick release style, so you can just press this button and release it, and then you don't have to use it with the wrist strap. So that's a nice feature. And then what you may not have noticed yet is actually under this camera, I have what might just look like a typical Arca Swiss plate. But what this actually is a hidden AirTag compartment. So inside here is an AirTag, and this is from Small Rig, and they've designed this such that the AirTag can still transmit, which is really nice. So even if someone got a hold of your camera, got a hold of your bag, you'd have an AirTag in your bag and an AirTag on the camera itself, which would really help you in recovering your gear. And beyond that, if you just lose your stuff easily, having AirTags on your equipment just makes a lot of sense. Now, beyond stuff that you can do to your gear and equipment, I think just being situationally aware is extremely important. Maybe deciding to leave the camera in the sling bag and not taking it out at certain times. might make more sense. And if you're paying attention to your surroundings, I think it just allows you to make better decisions when it comes to not being a victim of theft. Something I forgot to mention earlier too is when it comes to the sling bag, it's actually, in my opinion, the best way to carry your camera for a few reasons if theft or anti-theft is of a concern to you. And that is that when the camera is put away, it's not obvious that you have a camera with you. You just have a sling bag, right? So if you have something like the Peak Design Capture Clip or the Ulanzi version of that, and you leave your camera clipped to your backpack, while yes, it is accessible for you easily, it's also visible to everyone walking around. So it's obvious that you have a camera with you, and who knows, maybe you have more lenses and things in your bag. So the advantage of a sling is when the camera is put away, no one knows that you have a camera with you. So what if you need to bring more gear with you, and what if you have to leave it somewhere? Let's say you're a wedding videographer or a photographer and maybe you just aren't sure what the venue is going to look like. Well, here is the solution that I've come up with. Okay, here is the solution for someone who is, let's say, doing a wedding or any type of venue where you may need to leave your gear away from you for an extended period of time and you may not have eyes on it. This is essentially a Pelican case. This one is actually made by a company called Apache. Pelican is a brand name, of course, but this Apache one is quite a bit less expensive. And on B&H's website, I found a photography insert that fits this bag perfectly. So this is actually something I picked up at Harbor Freight. It has wheels on it, and I believe it's a carry-on size. Don't quote me on that, but it seems like a typical carry-on size. And inside, you have all your typical photography bag inserts. So you could put whatever camera and gear you have in here. You can also hide an air tag in here, which I highly recommend. And the reason that this bag or this carrying system, it's not really a bag, is so good is because you have space for 2 padlocks here. So you can have 1 padlock on either side. And then what I like to do is take a cable lock and actually lock this up to something. So you can lock it up to a chair or a post, or just basically the same way you would lock up a bicycle or motorcycle, you could lock this bag up. So like I said before, even if you have this locked up and you have a cable lock to it, if someone is determined enough to try to get your gear, they can still do it. They can use bolt cutters, they could use an angle grinder. There would be a way to get into this. It's obviously not impenetrable. So that's why I think having insurance makes sense for a lot of people. That being said, by having locks on this and having the actual bag itself or box itself locked to something, you would be really making this a headache for anyone who wanted to steal this from you. And in a lot of situations, that's kind of all you need to do to prevent yourself from being a victim of theft, is just make yourself a difficult target. And that's sort of the theme of this video, is just do things that make you hard to steal from, basically. I'm sure I didn't cover everything, so if I missed something or if you have other helpful tips to share down below, please write them in the comments and I'll be sure to read them. So hopefully you found something in this video helpful and at the very least entertaining. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.